Alright, Hong Kong Island, the location for TDU SC. It is what has been confirmed, and it is what we're going to get in the game for at least at launch. Now, if you haven't already seen my previous thoughts and opinions about the Hong Kong Island map, I'll leave a pop-up on the screen for you guys right now to go ahead and check out. But in today's video, we're going all in depth about Hong Kong Island and its surrounding areas. Now, Hong Kong Island, despite being small, I'm sure KT has something up their sleeves, because honestly, like I said, the map is small and it does lack some very key features that you need to have on a map, and I'll discuss that all in a bit. So it definitely makes me think that, you know what, we might actually be going and traveling outside of Hong Kong Island. We're just gonna have to wait and hear more information from KT. It makes sense that they don't reveal us the whole map yet, and they might actually reveal the map later on as time passes. Maybe they'll say welcome to Hong Kong next, or welcome to Latau, or welcome to Macau, etc, etc. Now really quick, I'm going to brush over a couple of things from the previous trailer. The first one being that there is an airport sign near the end of the trailer which would technically link it to the airport in Hong Kong. The second one would be a link to these two maps. The first map I'm showing you right now was in the trailer when they were showing the Solo Crown Hotel. Now you can see on the arrow that there is an area which looks to be a tunnel, and when you match it up, this tunnel is actually called the Eastern Harbor Tunnel, and it is what connects Hong Kong Island to Hong Kong. Now an even more interesting thing is that before they showed this part of the map, if you rewind the trailer a bit, you can actually see this part, which looks to be a whole scale of not only Hong Kong Island, but a little bit of Hong Kong itself, mainland, and of course the map Latau. Another quick thing is that this part of the map, as you guys already know and what I said in my previous video, is most likely on Hong Kong Island in this location here, which again makes sense why it's there, as it is on Hong Kong Island. And of course, you can't forget the neon signs, which despite obviously we already know we're on Hong Kong Island, these signs actually match us with the Hong Kong mainland in this area here. So again, a lot of discrepancies, a lot of inconsistencies, but it would make sense that we're traveling beyond Hong Kong Island. And of course, last but not least, the picture of the port, which basically is what baited me super hard on thinking that it isn't Hong Kong Island at all, because obviously there is no port on Hong Kong Island. Why would they show it in the trailer? Now the even crazier thing is that in the dev interview, you can see Amari talk about the island, and he brings up the word marshes. Now if you search that up, that is a wetland area, which by the way, there isn't a single wetland area on Hong Kong Island unless you want to call this a wetland, but honestly I wouldn't call it. But of course, where are the marshes, you ask? Well, in Hong Kong there's actually a famous wetland area, and up on the screen right now is where you can actually find it. So maybe we do indeed get the entire Hong Kong area. It's going to be pretty interesting. Maybe we'll get it as post-launch content, or maybe it is locked to us at first, but as you progress through the TDU SC story, you gain more and more areas, which is pretty similar to TDU 2 when you move from Ibiza obviously to Oahu in Hawaii. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Hong Kong Island, and then after that we'll talk about all my speculation areas that are outside of Hong Kong Island. So without further ado, up on the screen right now is Hong Kong Island, which by the way is a beautiful island. And another thing I want to say before I even get into this, if it is indeed larger than just Hong Kong Island that we're going to be getting in TDU SC, honestly, this may be one of the best maps in the TDU game ever, and I might even say that the debate between Tenerife, Gran Canaria, any other islands compared to Hong Kong Island and its surrounding areas is very, very debatable. And honestly, I can't wait to see what KT actually have in store for us. But of course, we're gonna have to play the waiting game and wait to hear more information. So Hong Kong Island, it's pretty dense. Let's get that out of the way. It is small and it is dense. Right up on the screen right now is just the area of Hong Kong Island, which again, like I said, is small. However, there are some discrepancies. Now the first one being there aren't that many highway areas to actually get your car to a top speed and hold it there. And when you think about it, that's pretty damn important for a racing game. I mean, if I'm driving a Bugatti Veyron Super Sport and I'm trying to drive 400 kilometers an hour for more than a couple seconds, chances are it won't be on this island. And I'm sure KT know that because the game is called Test Drive Unlimited. It wouldn't make any sense if you couldn't get any car to top speed for at least a couple of seconds. And honestly, it would be total suicide if they didn't include it. So with that being said, honestly, I do think we're going to be getting more of an area, but that's just one of the issues I have with the island. Let's just talk about how good it is in general. So density. The one thing that we didn't have in any of the other TDU maps was density. A lot of the areas were obviously not built up as they are at IRL. So obviously with a smaller map, a lot of us are going to expect a more detailed map, and with a more detailed map may come with more activities, more of a chance to see other players, more of an alive map as per se. But let's take a look at some of the areas around the island, starting off with here. Now this is actually a little island off of Hong Kong Island, which is connected via a bridge. And you can see right here, there is a chance of these actually being apartments. I mean, it's a dead end. Why would you not add houses into the game? A lot of you guys have been saying, bro, we're not gonna get houses or dealerships. Guys, they didn't confirm or deny any of that. And honestly, we all know dealerships and houses are literally key to the TDU franchise. So I'm sure an area like this would make perfect sense to make an apartment or even multiple apartments. There's a lot of potential on this island because it's so much smaller compared to all of the other TDU counterparts. I do expect a lot more activities, a lot more stuff all the way around the island to explore and have fun on. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, casinos are actually illegal on Hong Kong Island. However, they do have cruise ships or actual boats that are casinos floating on the water, because technically that is legal. But the fact that there are no casinos in Hong Kong Island, which honestly I'll get back to later, but there are indeed a ton of casinos in the island of Macau, which again, I told you guys in my previous video, is connected to Hong Kong with the world's largest bridge, which might I add is half bridge, half tunnel. So that is something very excited to be about if they actually do add that into the game. But let's get back to Hong Kong Island. Now I highly recommend you actually go ahead and check all this out for yourself, because again, there are so many other areas that I can't show you guys and actually fit in a timely manner in this video, but I'm just going to go over some of the key areas. Like this dam you can drive over. Forza Horizon 4. Dam, driving over dam. Anyway, seriously though, it does have a dam you can drive over, which of course I'm sure you'll get some beautiful pictures with your Aston Martin DB11 driving across this, and it makes perfect sense. But now you're probably asking, yo Alex bro, where are the roads, twisty roads, the tunnels? Well, hold on. There is a tunnel here in this area of Hong Kong Island, which again is not that long. It's about a mile, so again, it's not that long. And according to Segregura, going flat out will actually time that in 25 seconds, which is still a decent tunnel regardless. But there are so many areas around the map which just have a ton of bends with a ton of views. It is definitely undeniable to say that, yo, this game does have the views. It technically does have the roads, although it's not on such a large scale. It definitely has some nice twisty roads, a decent highway, but again, not that many places where you can get to your top speed. Now of course, throughout the island you obviously have such a high elevation that you can actually outlook the entire city, which could you imagine doing that, just taking a look at the entire city, which hopefully KT can nail the render distance in this game on next gen consoles and PC of course, because if we could get a picture like this, Jesus Christ, this game will be one of my favorite maps. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the more and more time that passes since it was revealed that we're getting Hong Kong Island, the more and more this island is starting to grow on me, and especially if we're getting a large area, which fingers crossed, I really do hope KT listen to us, and that is what they do, or that is actually what they've already done, they just haven't told us yet. Like I said, this may be one of the best maps in an open world racing game, and that is very debatable for sure. But of course, coming here to buildings like this, could you just imagine the views you'd get from an apartment like this? It doesn't make sense to not add houses and apartments around the island, because what else can you really fill it with? And like I said, these are core TDU features, so again, I'm sure KT knows that, and I'm sure they're actually going to put it in. Alright, so back on this part of the island guys, as you can see, we do have some very nice roads overlooking it, and like I said, as time passes, more and more that I look around and take a look over at Hong Kong Island, honestly, the island is good. It definitely has a lot of potential, especially if executed right, and I do trust KT in order to pull off the execution needed to make this maybe one of the best test drive limited games we have ever gotten. That is granted, they don't forget to add houses and dealerships. KT, please. We need those in the game. And I mean, like, just take a look at this coastal highway, and could you only imagine if we actually can travel beyond Hong Kong Island? Because honestly, like I said, this game has crazy potential, and I really recommend you go ahead, boot up Google Earth and take a look for yourselves, whether you even stay on the island only or you want to feed into the speculation that there may actually be locations beyond Hong Kong Island, because a lot of the area is very neat. I mean, let's even take a look at Victoria Park, which is actually where the Solar Crown Hotel will be located in the game, and honestly guys, it looks stunning. I super cannot wait for actual gameplay to actually see if we will be going beyond Hong Kong. And guys, you can't even lie, after watching this video, you're probably going to think the same thing. It's that Hong Kong Island, especially if it's beyond Hong Kong Island, will be brilliant. But that's enough talking about Hong Kong Island. Let me take you guys beyond Hong Kong Island and show you some of the areas that may actually be in the game, assuming that we actually do go beyond this only confirmed Hong Kong island, just based on all of the coincidences in the trailer. Alright, mainland Hong Kong. You can get to this with one of the 2 underground waterway tunnels that are found in Hong Kong island that connects it, which is Route 3 as well as Route 1. Now right here is the supposed area of where those neon signs were actually located. But as you guys can see, you can take a look at it, and when the highway first starts on Route 3, this is a highway of where we can get our speed and take off, which I'll get to in a minute. But mainland Hong Kong covers all of this, and of course, what better thing to do than take a look at some of the mountains that are also in this area. So listen, technically, if we do get Hong Kong Island beyond it, not only is this technically really vast, it also varies with a lot of different vegetation, a lot of different land, a lot of different terrain, which I can't even lie, which is what, like I've always said, it's possible that this is going to be in the game, as it just makes sense. But last time I did say that I didn't get very far because I said Tenerife, but we're good. Let's continue this. Now let's take a look at the port. As you guys can see, you would basically follow this Route 3 highway all the way over here until you get to the port, which is featured with quite a beautiful bridge, as you guys can see on the screen right now. This is one of the bridges that would technically connect us from Hong Kong Island to Hong Kong, which eventually I'll get to Lantau. And I mean, when you think about it, why would they include the port in the trailer if we can't go to it? A lot of these subtle little hints, I mean, clearly, Con and KT have seen the trailer multiple times because I'm sure they have to review it, send back, add, remove, etc, etc. And I'm sure this trailer was not made last minute. So with that being said, I'm sure they wouldn't give us all of the information about the game yet because, as I said, they're going to update us throughout the coming year until the game releases next year, September. But let's continue. What is beyond the port, you ask? Well, take a look at this. Not only do you have a tunnel leading through this mountain, you're going to end up here, which is Lantau, which is actually going to be the link between the next location, which I'll show, which is Hong Kong Airport. But before I get there, guys, do you remember when I told you about the dev named Amari and when he brought up the word marshes? Well, guess what? In Hong Kong, although there aren't any marshes, I guess you could say per se, on Hong Kong Island itself, Hong Kong is famous for its marsh all the way in Mai Pao, which you can actually see is a whole nature reserve. So marshes, I'm sure they would be in the game, and it would make sense because this is a marsh. This is exactly what it is. And the thing is, you don't see stuff like this on Hong Kong Island at all. It's more of a beach area. So listen, fingers crossed, we may actually go beyond Hong Kong, which, like I said, and I'm sure if you take a look for yourselves in Google Earth, you're also going to enjoy this map as much as I am, because honestly, it's really starting to grow on me. I can't even lie. But let's backtrack all the way to the main link. And as you guys can see, if you decide to take it going west, you can actually make your way over to the island of Lantau, which honestly is quite big. It doesn't really have that many cities, but hey, it does feature a massive airport, which is obviously Hong Kong International Airport, but it does feature quite a vast terrain, and I'm sure, as you guys can already see, could you imagine the views we would get looking back at Hong Kong Island? Because don't forget, the Solar Hotel is what looks to be one of the most tallest buildings in the map in general, as it is fictional. But beyond this, what are you going to see? As I've already said in the previous video where I talked about my thoughts regarding Hong Kong Island, the thing is, this is the world's largest bridge, and as I've already told you guys, casinos are actually illegal on Hong Kong Island, but Macau, they have a ton of casinos. So with that being said, maybe that is where we're also going to be getting the casino. Now after you pass this half tunnel, half bridge, you end up in Macau, which again, like I said, we're just going to have to wait for more information. And moral of the story is, honestly, if you take a look at Hong Kong Island, it is a pretty nice location, especially, might I add, if you also have some of the Hong Kong areas beyond Hong Kong Island. Even if you stretch it beyond Hong Kong to Lantau or even Macau, this game might actually turn out to be very excellent. And I can't wait to hear more information, guys. So if you did enjoy this video, leave a like down below and subscribe for more TDUSC content. I'm Alex7, and I'll see you guys next in my trailer breakdown. I'm out. Peace.